Hamlet, Act I, Scene 1.
Who's there? Me! Answer me! Stand and unfold yourself! Long live the king! Bernardo? He! You come most carefully upon your hour.
'Tis now struck 12. Get thee to bed, Francisco.
For this relief, much thanks. 'Tis bitter cold, and I'm sick at heart.
Have you had quiet guard?
Not a mouse stirring.
Well, good night. If you do meet Horatio and Marcellus, the rivals of my watch, bid them make haste.
Horatio is a friend of Hamlet.
Stand! Who's there?
Friends to this ground, and liegemen to the Dane.
Give you good night.
Oh, farewell, honest soldier. Who hath relieved you?
Bernardo has my place. Give you good night.
Hola? Bernardo?
Say, what? Is Horatio there?
Oh, a piece of him.
Welcome, Horatio. Welcome, good Marcellus.
What? Has this thing appeared again tonight?
I have seen nothing.
So what is this thing that they are talking about? We're going to come to find that this is a ghost that they have seen when they're standing watch at the gates of the kingdom. And he says, what has this thing appeared tonight? So this is the ghost. And then Horatio is about to say, Horatio says, 'tis but a fantasy. So it seems like Horatio might be a little skeptical of the supernatural.
Horatio says 'tis but our fantasy, and will not let belief take hold of him, touching this dreaded sight, twice seen of us. Therefore I have entreated him along with us to watch the minutes of this night, that if again this apparition come, he may approve our eyes and speak to it.
Tush, tush. 'Twill not appear.
Sit down a while and let us once again assail your ears that are so fortified against our story what we 2 nights have seen.
Well, sit we down. And let us hear Bernardo speak of this.
Last night of all, when yon same star that's westward from the pole had made his course to illume that part of heaven where now it burns, Marcellus and myself, the bell then beating 1,
Beast! Break thee off!
The ghost has come in.
Look where it comes again!
in the same figure like the king that's dead.
Thou art a scholar! Speak to it, Horatio!
Looks it not like the king? Mark it, Horatio.
Most like. It harrows me with fear and wonder.
It would be spoke to.
Question it, Horatio!
What art thou that usurps this time of night, together with that fair and warlike form, in which the majesty of very Denmark did sometimes march? By heaven, I charge thee, speak!
So they tell us here that in the same figure, like the king that's dead. So we come to find that the king is dead. We don't know who the king is yet, but he's dead. And this ghost appears to be like the king, or looks like the king.
It is offended!
See, it stalks away.
Stay! Speak! Speak! I charge thee, speak!
It is gone, and will not answer.
How now, Horatio? You tremble and look pale. Is not this something more than fantasy? What think you on?
Before my God, I might not disbelieve, without the sensible and true avouch of mine own eyes.
Is it not like?
So Horatio just finally acknowledges that the ghost does look like the dead king. And he's going to say it even wears the armor like the king.
Like the king?
As thou art to thyself. Such was the very armour he had on, when he the ambitious Norway combated. So frowned he once, when in an angry parle he smote the sledded Polax on the ice. Oh, 'tis strange.
Thus twice before, and just at this dead hour, with martial stalk hath he gone by our watch.
In what particular thought to work I know not. But in the gross and scope of my opinion, this bodes some strange eruption to our state.
Good now. Sit down, and tell me, he that knows, why this same strict and most observant watch so nightly toils the subject of the land? And why such daily cast of brazen cannon and foreign mart for implements of war? Why such impressive shipwrights, whose sole task does not divide the Sunday from the week? What might be toward that this sweaty haste doth make the night joint labour with the day? Who is't that can inform me?
That can I. At least the whisper goes so. Our last king, whose image even but now appeared to us, was, as you know, by Fortinbras of Norway, thereto pricked on by a most emulate pride, dared to the combat, in which our valiant Hamlet, for so this side of our known world esteemed him, did slay this Fortinbras, who by a sealed compact, well ratified by law and heraldry, did forfeit with his life all those his lands which he stood seized on to the conqueror.
So basically, we now hear Horatio talk about the ghost and how he must be kind of bringing this impending doom on Denmark. And so now, we kind of know where this is taking place. And he tells the story of King Hamlet's conquest of lands that once belonged to Norway. And Fortinbras, who was the king of Norway, the prince of Norway, is now come back and wants to take those lands back. And so that might be why there is this mysterious ghost, that there is some type of impending doom.
Against the which a moiety competent was gauged by our king, which had returned to the inheritance of Fortinbras had he been vanquisher, as by the same covenant and carriage of the article designed, his fell to Hamlet. Now, sir, young Fortinbras, of unimproved metal, hot and full, hath in the skirts of Norway here and there sharked up a list of lawless resolutes for food and diet to some enterprise that hath a stomach in't, which is no other, and it doth well appear unto our state, but to recover of us by strong hand and terms compulsatory those foresaid lands so by his father lost. And this, I take it, is the main motive of our preparations, the source of this our watch, and the chief head of this post-haste and rummage in the land.
So now we learn a little bit more. Basically, King Hamlet, who we can call, for the sake of our argument, Papa Hamlet. He's the older Hamlet. His rival is Fortinbras, and Fortinbras dared him to a battle. Hamlet killed Fortinbras, and so Fortinbras had to surrender his territories. Young Fortinbras, who is now the son of the one that he killed, wants this land back.
I think it be no other but e'en so. Well may it sort that this portentous figure comes armed through our watch, so like the king that was and is the question of these wars.
A mote it is to trouble the mind's eye. In the most high and palmy state of Rome, a little ere the mightiest Julius fell, the graves stood tenantless, and the sheeted dead did squeak and gibber in the Roman streets, that stars with trains of fire and dews of blood, disasters in the sun. And the moist star, upon whose influence Neptune's empire stands, was sick almost to doomsday with eclipse. And even the like precurse of feared events, as harbingers preceding still the fates, and prologue to the omen coming on, have heaven and earth together demonstrated unto our climatures and countrymen. But soft! Behold! Lo, when it comes again! I'll crush it though it blast me! Stay, illusion! If thou hast any sound or use of voice, speak to me! If there be any good thing to be done, that may to thee do ease and
So he's asking if there's anything I can do to bring you peace. Please let me know.
grace to me. Speak to me. If thou art privy to thy country's fate, which happily foreknowing may avoid, oh, speak! Or if thou hast uphoarded in thy life exalted treasure in the womb of earth, for which they say you spirits oft walk in death, speak of it! Stay and speak! Stop it, Marcellus! Shall I strike at it with my partisans? Do if it will not stand! 'Tis here! 'Tis here!
And then the ghost is gone.
Tis gone. We do it wrong, being so majestical, to offer it the show of violence. For it is as the air invulnerable, and our vein blows malicious mockery.
It was about to speak when the cock crew.
And then it started like a guilty thing, upon a fearful summons. I have heard the cock, that is the trumpet to the morn, doth with his lofty and shrill-sounding throat awake the god of day. And at his warning, whether in sea or fire, in earth or air, the extravagant and erring spirit hies to his confine. And of the truth herein, this present object made probation.
It faded on the crowing of the cock. Some say that ever gainst that season comes wherein our Saviour's birth is celebrated. The bird of dawning singeth all night long. And then, they say, no spirit dare stir abroad. The nights are wholesome, then no planets strike, no fairy takes, nor witch hath power to charm. So hallowed and so gracious is the time.
So Marcellus claims that the crows cock all night long at Christmas, a time when no harm can be done because it's, a holy time. And yet they hear it now. And so Horatio is going to go on to agree, and he's going to suggest that maybe they tell young Hamlet about seeing the ghost, because if the ghost didn't speak to them, maybe the ghost will speak to his son.
Oh, have I heard, and do in part believe it. But look, the morn in russet mantle clad walks o'er the dew of yon high eastern hill. Break we our watch up, and by my advice, let us impart what we have seen tonight unto young Hamlet. For upon my life, this spirit, dumb to us, will speak to him. Do you consent we shall acquaint him with it, as needful in our loves, fitting our duty?
Let's do it, I pray. And I this morning know where we shall find him most conveniently.